Hello guys, welcome to our first tutorial, the basic Python 0 to ML tutorial. So as I said earlier, the idea of this series is to make everything really simple. I'm going to most likely be oversimplifying things so that it is understood by everybody. And if I say something and you don't get it or doesn't make sense, please feel free to leave comments on every platform we have, either on YouTube or on LinkedIn, so that I can I would respond. So here's the case. We have today we are going to be talking about Git. Let's see, what was the plan? It was supposed to be Python first, but no qualms, we'll just go through it the same way. I'll just take Git first. Okay, so what is Git first? Now, Git is a source control management system. Okay, so as you can see, if you look at this is my Git account, and you can see you have all these people with their programs that they are working on. So this person has class projects, this person has forum API, this person is working on a data science project, this person working on something called XBMC, Amazon instant video add-on for Kodi Media Center. So basically it's a place for dumping code. Okay, you write code, you dump, you write code, you dump, you write code, you dump, just like that, easy peasy. Okay, now it goes a little further than that. Not a little further, it goes way further than that. Okay, now you can do a lot of things with this guy. It helps you keep a history, okay, of what process your code has passed through. All right, so you wrote a program today, and in this program it could add two numbers, but nobody can see those numbers. You just know it has added, and then maybe it does something with those numbers. Then the next month you decide, I think I can actually, after adding these numbers, after I add these numbers, I transfer these numbers somewhere that it can be printed so that the user can see. Okay, so now you say, okay, this is version 2, and then a month later again you come again and you're like, I think I can actually multiply numbers also and print. You get, now you have 3 versions of your code. Now Git will allow you, based on something called commits. Okay, you drop, after you write, if you write a new code today, a new code base, you make your first commit. Now that usually, by default, that's the message on that is usually my first commit. Now it is going to store that at that point in time, what you had done to this code base was your first commit. Okay, now you come in another day and you go, I was able to make this program add numbers, and now you commit it again. You say code can now add numbers. Okay, there's some convention to it. You can start putting like 01 dot what's it called, code can now add numbers. Now a month later you come back again, you're like, I want to print. You finish writing the code to print numbers. Let me show you what I'm saying. I'm just going to use a very basic program that adds numbers. So day 1 you come and then you were able to add numbers. Okay, you could add numbers and then you commit this code. Okay, now a month after you come again and then you say you should be able to print. That's version 2. Now a month after you come back and say you should be able to add, multiply and print all of them, and that's version 3. Here you have 3 different versions, and these are going to be separated by those commits that you've made. Okay, now that's just one thing that you can do for you. So when you go back, you can always see those commits. You can revert to an older commit, or you can revert to an older commit of something you've done. You can go back and check. Let's see, if I can see my commits to this particular project. So you would see, now you can see my commits. Now here, made data tables a little faster. Okay, I switched to an older version. Now see this, added margin and separate added margin and separate last read CSS. Now fixed null error when no device read for yesterday. Now a bit of cleanup while about to start customers. Working on scorecard status bar, done with energy usage. Do you get? So now you can see, and you can even see the dates I did it. What's it called? Dates committed September 2nd. You can see the August 28th, August 27th, and you can see as many as far back as you want to. Okay, now you can also come in and see what change occurred on that day. What did I do? Now you can see the red are the things that left, the greens are the things that were added. So if you notice, if you look at it now, you can see line 49, line 94, I added parameters, blah blah blah. Okay, not like I added this, but I changed, I altered something there. So let's see what I altered. Here we have voltage, current, energy. Here we have current, voltage, energy. So you can see that was a change to my code. Now see, in this case now, there was no, you can see I added a try and except here. Now if you check this other part, there is no try and except. So basically it just checks what you are doing and you commit, and once you commit, it keeps that state and registers it as what happened at that point when you saved that state. What was changed? What was the new version? What was the new thing that happened? Do you get? So that's basically what the whole source control manager is all about. Not just that. I'm not going to say that's all it's about, because there's still some things you can do, like apart from the fact that this now is a cloud storage. So if you notice, I could be anywhere in the world and call my code base from here. I can continue writing my code from anywhere, regardless, from any computer also, provided that computer has Git installed, okay, and is connected to the internet. So now, having said this, there's other things you can do with it. So you can see, you notice you have something called branch here. So this is where when you want to split. I'm not going to go deep into all of this for now, because I don't want to make things very weird and complex. So for now, there's still a lot. So I basically want to just introduce these things to you guys. So, but for now, what we're just going to be using is versioning your code and saving your code to cloud, basically. So we'll just be doing adding, committing, pushing, and pulling, basically. I'm not going to talk about branching and all of that. If you want to, you can actually go ahead and or maybe ask me questions if you decide to venture into all of that. So, but for now, the first thing I want to do now is go download Git. So if you just type download Git on Google, as you can see here, download Git, and you'll see this. The first option is probably what you should want to follow. Now you can see for Mac OS X, for Windows, for Linux. I think if you are using Mac OS rather, you probably have Bash pre-installed on your computer, so you might not need to. So what you want to do is open your terminal and type bash. Okay, if you do that and you see a response, I'm talking for those people who are using. That's when I say Mac OS X, I mean, yeah, but people who use Mac OS X know what they are using. So whoever is using a Mac, that's an Apple laptop, you want to do that. Now you want to open your terminal and type bash. If you see a response from your computer, then you know you have Git installed on it. You should be able to. I believe if you have bash, you should be able to use Git. Now for Windows, which is what I currently use and what I'm very familiar with, if you are using Linux too, you just follow the process. If you have any issues, you could leave a comment and I would see if I can help. I'm not really familiar like that with the Linux environment, but for Windows, let's just go into Windows. So you enter Windows and you can see all these versions. I already have it, so I'm not going to download it. So you just pick, depending on what the configuration of your computer. I mean, you could have a 32 or 64 bits computer, so you just check. Now, to check that, for those who don't know how to see that, if you come to your computer, this PC, and then you right click. Now, do you notice what I'm doing? So this PC, if anybody is using what's it called, Windows 7, what you would have here is my computer, I believe. So if you click on my computer, you will still see something that looks relatively like this. Okay, now you want to properties. Okay, now when you do that, you can see what I have 64 bits operating system, and that's what you want to check. Okay, now if you have a 64 bits operating system, you are good to go and use the 64 bits version. You might have 32 bits. If you have 32 bits, you just take the corresponding one for your platform. Okay, so now I have it already. So after you download it, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to come to downloads. I believe I have it in my downloads, and where is it? It should be somewhere. Git. So you can see it's there. Now this is Git right here. 64 bits version is what I have, because my computer is a 64 bits version. Now when you come to when you want to install, I don't want you to change anything. Okay, I mean, except you really know what you're doing, then I mean, be my guest. But if not, I'd rather you just leave everything as is and just next. No changes, no ticking anything, nothing. Just next and then install. Okay, and that's all. So I have it already, so I'm not going to. If you notice, it's asking me if I want to replace some files in use. So I'm just going to close it because I don't need to install it again because I have it. Okay, so now after you install that, you should have something called bash. Okay, so when you go to your taskbar, if you are using, again, for Mac OS users and Linux users, you know how you search. I think for Mac users, you probably use what's it called, your Spotlight to search. You can use it through your terminal, I believe, and you can also use it through by calling bash directly from your Spotlight. So I'm going to open two of them, CMD. Now your command prompt, and to get command prompt, you just type CMD. Okay, that's command prompt. If you want to get your bash, you type bash. Now if you see bash, you know Git has successfully been installed. All right, now now if I type bash here, bash, I can't use it from here. Probably a mistake I made while I was installing. Sometimes you could use it from here. I believe I did not check something, but it's fine, just leave it like that. On this computer I did not configure it that way. So here, this is where you're going to use it now. So bash, this is bash currently, and you can do git directly from here, and you can see it. So you can see when I type git, you can see all this plenty stuff that is being displayed on the screen. Now I'm going to go back to GitHub. Now we have that installed now. So the first thing we are going to do now is create our own repository. So firstly, you want to create an account. Okay, it's free and easy. I'm signed in already, so I'll just sign out temporarily. So where am I? Allow me to see what I'm writing. Okay, sign up for Git. So you put your username, your password, and confirm password, and then you sign up. It's a very simple process. I'm already a member, so just sign back in. So you can just create an account for yourself. Okay, now first thing you want to do is create a new repository. So you see this plus sign here. That's when after you've created your account. Now you see the plus sign here, and then you create a new repository. After you create a new repository, there are two ways to go about it. the first way, okay, so what I'll do is I'll just let this be. So I'll just call this delete repo. Okay, now because I'm calling it delete repo because I'm going to delete it now, and then you can put a description of what it is. So this is a temporary repo which I will be deleting. Okay, now initialize initialize this repository with a readme. No, public. You can make private if you want to, if you don't want anybody to see it. I think I have just one private repository, but yeah, I mean, if you really need it to be private, you can do that, but I do not right now, so I'll just create this repository. So as I said earlier, there are two ways for you to go about getting it done. So method one is to go through this. So now you want to, I'm not sure how long I want my videos to be lasting, because I think it's usually easy for people to have shorter videos. So well, I would like to hear from you guys. Tell me if you think it's too long, if I should break it down to shorter videos. Okay, so well, let's just continue. I'll just do the GitHub part. I'll just finish this part I'm doing, and then let's see, maybe I'll stop there. So okay, now this method is a little could be a little weird and difficult to pull off. So I don't think I should use this method because you need to write some plenty code, but it's the official method though. So here what you want to do is you want to, for those of us who are not very familiar with navigating through command prompt or terminal, to navigate in the same way you navigate through your folders. Okay, I think I'm going to stop this video here for today. I'm going to stop this particular video here, and I'll start a new video to continue from where we stopped, so that we don't have extremely long videos. Okay, so until the next video.